Well, welcome back, my friends all, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. Now, this is the Soar, S-O-A-R, just like I spelled it in the title. It's from Molsect Knives. Now, if you've been following the channel at all, Molsect sent me 10 knives to check out. I am forever appreciative. The Soar is their high-end model. It's S35VN. Carbon fiber and titanium handle scales. It's a frame lock, not all the way a deep carry pocket clip, but it's pretty close. I'll be honest with you, this is the third knife from them that I've reviewed. So far, everything has been sharp. Everything has been right on point when it comes to build quality. And here's the thing, guys. I worry more with function, right? Fit and finish is great. And they do a fine job. They really have on everything. I've been impressed. In fact, let me just tell you a couple things about the Soar while we're talking about it. That was me flipping it open. Frame lock. Now, the thing about this knife is it looks like it's got kind of a stone wash or satin type finish, more of a satin type finish, I guess. This knife has no billboarding whatsoever. The pivot clip is their logo, but that's it. There's no writing on the blade. There's no writing on the pocket clip. It's just a very, very well done, clean looking pocket knife. Feels good in hand. It's got a good balance point. It is a flipper. Here's the thing. I said in the last video that when we get a new company like this, we need to check some of the build quality, right? So we'll go a little harder on these than we normally would. Once we've established ourselves, then we can back off for that some. But the truth is, I've been impressed. The blade there's been no loose or wobbling after any of the videos. There's been no let up on the lock. All the locks have held up very, very well. Most of them have been liner locks. This is a frame lock. Here we're doing the Donnie B all day drop test, the Donnie B all day throw it at the stump test. And basically this is designed to check that lock as well, right? Frame lock, liner lock, a lot of times is going to fail on this. And, maybe it should, right? Now, I don't do that dumbass spine whack test. It's a personal choice. If somebody else does it, that ain't a shot at them. I just think it's the dumbest ass thing ever invented because I'm not going to turn around and nail a nail in with this knife. It ain't going to happen. And if I was going to, it wouldn't be in that manner. Now, moving on. This knife came very sharp. It's beautiful. It's clean. And here's the thing. I was very cautious in the first two videos to kind of tamper the excitement. Tamped it down a little bit. Y'all know me. I love knives. But when it's a brand new company, I didn't want to come just straight out the gate full of love and all that. But the truth is, the more and more I mess with these knives. Now, here's what happens. I'll do the review. And once I do the review, the jungle and the slate has gone into my EDC rotation, right? So we're not only looking at short-term right out of the box reviews. We're not just carrying it for a week like we did with the jungle and then do the review. We're moving them into my EDC rotation so we can get some long-term style stuff. Now, I'm stabbing. Stabbing with a frame lock's probably not the smartest thing, but again, if you followed the channel, you know I'm not the smartest fella. Again, we do it to check the build quality. I try to be as careful as I possibly can. I try to pay as much attention as I possibly can. But I'll be honest with you guys, there is a certain level of confidence that I'm building with Molsect that kind of puts me at peace, puts me at ease of mind. And I'll be honest with you, if I didn't have a real easy feeling about it, I wouldn't stab with them. And if you see me not stabbing with a knife, I don't have a lot of faith in it, and I'm probably not going to recommend it. Now, there are certain knives you should not stab with, okay? I know that. I will agree with that. And I'm not saying you should with this knife, but it's a little demonstration that I do. Here's a good look at the way it looks in the pocket. While we're looking at that, guys, we got about a 3.5 inch blade. Now that's to the top of the handle. Bear that in mind, 3.5 inch blade. It got about a 3 3/8 cutting surface there. The blade thickness, the thickness of the blade is 1/8. Now guys, I'm pulling these as we talk. So you got a 1/8 inch thick blade stock there. The blade at its widest point is 1 inch. It's 3.5 inches long. It's a good little carry size. The handle, which would be the length closed, is 4 1/4. And we'll do an inner grip. When you get a flipper, the flipper then becomes somewhat of a guard right there at the inner grip. So let's pull an inner grip. Now this is a pocket knife. We're right at 3.5. But here's the thing. Some guys, now I can pretty comfortably get a 4-finger grip. But throughout some of this, I dropped down just to a normal 3-finger, like I had, like for some of you guys with bigger hands. Still had very, very good control. It's got some nice jimping at the top there. Some people like the hole in it. Some people don't. I'm kind of ambivalent to it. I don't, doesn't matter to me. And I'll tell you why that hole doesn't matter to me. If it's heat treated right, it's going to be fine. And this is about a $180 knife. So it's not super expensive, but it is their highest price knife. Now, here's the thing. In that rare occasion, the 1 in 20 billion chance that I ever actually have to survive with this pocket knife, it'll do just fine. I'm not going to break it anyway if it's my only cutting tool. And we've talked about that a lot. But my point to you is this. If I'm carrying this knife, and I'm going to carry this knife because I like the way this looks. To me, this is more of a gentleman's carry. I like the way they did the carbon fiber. I don't want to call it inlaid, but I like the way they've done it there over the titanium, or it matches up to the I guess it is inlaid then, huh? Attaboy, Scab. But I like the carbon fiber. It just gives it a more dressy look. The choil, right there where the frame lock sits, you don't feel it digging into you. They've done a great job, in my opinion, with their pocket clips, meaning you don't feel that pocket clip riding in. The one thing I will try to do over and over and over and over again with a pocket knife is just cut stuff. Yes, it's to look at the sharpness somewhat, right? But some of it's just to get some different hand grips. Is this comfortable? Because just like many of you, when I'm at work and I need a knife and I go to pull the knife, I need to make sure that sumbitch works, right? I need to know that I can be in an off position, hold it any type of way, and I'm going to be comfortable. Now, I am leaned way over the car here. I did that on purpose. This tire has been cut several times. I know that. You run out of space. I tried to hit it in the spots where I hadn't cut it. There was a time or two it just went in. I mean, when you cut up a tire every day in a video, it comes a point you got to change it out. What I did find, and again, you see me there leaning over. Why do that? Because rarely, if ever, if you are in a situation where you have to do something like this, which unless you're, stabbing a girlfriend's tire, you won't have to do something like this. But my point is, anytime you have to do something hard use or out of the ordinary, typically you're not in position. Typically it's a shitty situation. So I like to put myself in those positions. I like to be out of a comfortable position, and it lets me get a good feel for the knife. That way when I'm in a comfortable position, if it works in the uncomfortable, it damn sure works in the comfortable. And it does here. Knife held up very well. I didn't really keep track of how much we cut, but good Lord, we cut a ton of stuff. Now right here, pay attention to this, because only I would be dumbass enough to do this. Basically, I just kept cutting ratchet strap and kept folding it over. Well, eventually what's going to happen is it's going to become too short. Like that's probably 8 pieces right there. Might have been the other one. There's a time coming up and it might have already passed. I get to talking. But the segment where I just kept cutting and cutting and cutting, and some of it flew out of my hands, it was about 9 or 10 pieces. But I did that because when you get the ratchet strap, the longer pieces, the knife doesn't have to be super sharp to cut. It really doesn't. The shorter those pieces of ratchet strap get, the more you can tell about the knife. Now, I'm sitting here holding the knife now, just kind of messing with it. I haven't stropped it yet, haven't done anything with it yet. It's got a really, really nice, it looks like a nice toothy edge, which I adore for what I do, right? I prefer a toothier edge. It fits me better. Only you can answer that for you. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. If you've got any sharpening skills, you can put the kind of edge on it you need, right? That's why we're knife gals and knife guys, and that's why we do that kind of thing. But I tried to cut as much stuff as I could. And again, comfortable in hand. Personally, I didn't come up with any hot spots, but let me put a caveat right here. I've got some of the most beat up, banged up hands on the planet. There's literally dead spots in my hand, okay? So it ain't a tough guy thing. It ain't none of that. For me, if it's a hot spot for me, you don't need to mess with that knife because it'll blister you. But I wanted to throw that in because I've done knives and people say, well, man, this is a hot. Well, it's not to me. I got a dead spot in my hand. So I like to be upfront with that stuff. Would I carry it? Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's a good looking, sharp, well-made knife. And again, like I'm sitting here there's no blade play when it's open. Let me close it and see. And I should do this on camera more. Now right here, this was impressive to me because that's sandblast hose. We cut it all the time, but that is an exceptionally thick piece. The knife went right through it. And if you ever tried to hold this shit and cut it, you'd see what I mean. All right, blades closed. Absolutely zero blade play. Looks very, very centered. I love this knife. I really do. I love what they're doing. Guys, let me do this part. There was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now stats are everywhere. We're at the weekend. The number's around 30 to 35. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you got a place here. Guys, I back to blue. It's just part of the channel. It's what I believe in. I know a lot of people don't. I'm fine with that. I don't try to shove it down your throat, but I don't hide from it either. I know this ain't a popular day and age for that, and I'm okay with that. Again, it's not something I'm going to shove down your throat. It's just something I believe in. And finally, if you are an addict, and well, I am, never quit quitting. That's very important. So the Soar, S-O-A-R. Now, I'm going to put a link to Molsect Knives website. Check them out. This one's $180, but honest to God, guys, most of their stuff isn't over 50, 60 bucks. And what I'm finding more and more and more and more is it's just well made, it's sharp, and it comes in handy. Check them out. I'm working on a discount code for you guys, so you'll have that. But check them out. I'm Scab. You're not. There's little Megatron looking hot back there in the flowery dress. We gone, son. Have a great work week.